So we begin the meditation just by settling in and bring your awareness to your body and just relax your body. To pay the attention on your body. Is there any tightness and any tension in your body? And you try to relax your body. And calming your body down by relaxing your body. If there is a tension in your neck, you just relax. And telling yourself, just relax. You relax your neck, your shoulder, your arms, and your back. Just relax. Just spend a little time relaxing your body. And relaxing your body to help you to calm your body down. When your body becomes calm and still, it helps to calm your mind down. Just stay in this moment. Develop your awareness through experiencing things with the silent mind. Just be in this moment. Just relax. As your mind becomes peaceful and you can feel the calmness, you can start to put your attention onto your breath. So we're going to end this session by counting 3 in and out breath. Then you can open your eyes.